Welcome in. It's Mike Welch. We're going to call this podcast Drop the Mic. Thank you guys for checking it out and showing up. It's fucking cool, man. Yeah, I can drop F-bombs now. It's pretty sweet. I decided to start a sports podcast because I wanna start a sports podcast, and I miss it. What can I say, man? Talking sports makes me happy. It's what I enjoy doing. It's what I've always enjoyed doing. I live in Los Angeles now. I was a sports talk radio host for 8 years. My last 2 years were at 610 Sports in Kansas City. Spent 3 years at 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, Nebraska. And now I'm in Los Angeles. I'm an actor, and I also do stand-up comedy here. August 13th, the Hollywood Improv. Just saying, if you want tickets, shameless plug, let's do it. But no, I enjoy doing this. This is what I love doing. Like, this makes me happy. So when I thought, like, well, I have more free time now. You know, it's football season. I'm used to working 6 days a week during this time. So now, got a little time. Might as well talk some sports, have some fun. If you want to listen, that's great. If you want to interact, that's great. You can always tweet at me at @TheMikeWelch. You can also hit me up on Instagram at @TheMikeWelch. Some of you guys do that without me even asking. I saw, we'll get into everything that's going on in the sports world here in a second, but I saw a tweet like 3 days ago or something. Somebody was asking, like, who's the worst sports talk radio host in Kansas City history after Kevin Keatsman, who was there for like 25 years and had a lot of success. Didn't end well. We all saw that, but for a long time, it was really good. But anyway, somebody was like, what about Mike Welch? The guy's a douchebag with all of his opinions. Gosh, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. The douchebag thing I'll give you. I mean, I have a mirror. Like, I see it. I know what you're talking about. I know. But the opinions thing is like, dude, what do you think I'm paid to do? What do you think this is? We sit here and just like say, this is what this person said. What the fuck would we get paid for? Right? Like, you just do that with robots, or you just be replaced. So opinions are kind of the name of it. If you hate my opinions, that's totally fine. I get that. I have a lot of shitty ones. A lot of shitty opinions. But if you enjoy my opinions, you enjoy listening to the show, you enjoy listening to me, please reach out. I have a lot of fun doing this. Just like Nick Bosa had a lot of fun tonight planting the flag on Baker Mayfield. How sweet was that? The Monday Night Football game with the Niners and the Browns. Jesus, Browns. Jesus. What happened to you? All that offseason hype. Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, everybody thought, hey, it's the Browns. Here they come. Yeah, no, they still suck, because in the end, they're still the Browns. Like, maybe one day it'll happen, but it's not going to happen overnight for them. I think that's just the reality of being a franchise that terrible for so long. But Nick Bosa doing the sack dance where he plants the flag. Of course, Nick Bosa was at Ohio State when Baker Mayfield was at Oklahoma, and he planted the flag in the middle of the field at Ohio State. Now, Mayfield, he had to apologize for that. I don't know that Nick Bosa is going to have to apologize for it. Mostly because, well, I guess it's not as disrespectful, whatever. But I feel like guys like Baker Mayfield and Nick Bosa are making football fun again. You know, like, I think there was a stretch there where everybody took themselves really seriously, and it felt like we were all walking on eggshells, like Baker Mayfield. You know, when Baker was like a senior, remember he did the dick grab to the KU sideline when he was at Oklahoma? I can say dick grab now. That's fun too. It's not going to be like a super dirty podcast or anything like that, but there's sometimes nothing drives something home just quite as well as calling it a dick grab. Anyway, he does the dick grab against KU. He plants the flag against Ohio State. He had to apologize for a lot. And a lot of people thought, oh, that's going to affect him. He's not going to be as good. You know, maybe people should expect him to bust. All that stuff. He's okay. I mean, he's not Patrick Mahomes, who we'll get to soon. But he's a good quarterback. He has a chance to be really good. I think Baker Mayfield's going to be awesome in the NFL for a long period of time. He's just that guy. He's got that swagger, right? He's got that BDE, that big dick energy, walking around. You know he's got it. He might not be great right this second, but the Browns have a lot of new pieces. I think it was a little ridiculous that people thought the Browns were going to hit the ground running with all these new pieces that have never worked together before. I mean, it very rarely works out where you're just like, okay, we got all these new pieces, these new things, implement them, and then they just all click instantly. That's going to take time, man. Bring a lot of big-time players. They're all going to want their money. They're all going to want their ball, right? They want to get their touches. It's going to take time for that thing to work out. So I'd expect Cleveland to have some bad times, right? I'd expect Cleveland to have some stuff. But, you know, I really like the football world that we have right now. I mean, just looking around, like Christian McCaffrey, he's destroying every slow white guy stereotype that I always believed in. I always believe in all of those. I saw Christian McCaffrey. He's at Stanford. Who cares, right? I mean, I knew, yeah, he's good, but like, let's calm down. He's not the greatest thing we've ever seen. He might be the greatest thing we've ever seen, guys. Like, I don't know, but he might. Like, I'm not ruling that out. He looks pretty awesome. I saw he has more yards from scrimmage right now than Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott combined, which is phenomenal. It's amazing. We also have the Redskins. They're back to being so embarrassing that nobody's even talking about their racist name. No one even cares. That's what happens. Like, when people have other stuff to complain about, like, Jay Gruden, get the F out of here. When people have that kind of stuff to complain about, they're not worried about your name. They just don't want to see you ever. So we'll get to the Redskins, too. Also, Mason Rudolph. I feel bad because the guy got concussed. It was terrible. It was a horrible situation. I feel bad for the hit. Looked a little bit it was borderline. I don't know. I wouldn't call it dirty, but you need to like pull out a knife and stab somebody for me to call a hit dirty. I'm always going to side with the defense. It's who I am as a person. It's football. You knew what you signed up for. That's why you wear pads. But maybe a little on border. Maybe borderline hit by Earl Thomas there. But he can't get carted off the field because apparently the Steelers have the injury card from the Civil War. Just like, what are you going to do? And they're just like, no, we carry him off. Just he'll be fine. Put him on your shoulders. So we'll get to all of it. First, though, the Chiefs lost. First time all year, 4-1 now after losing to the Colts, 19-13. And now suddenly they're not good? Like, it's so, the overreaction I've seen when it comes to the Chiefs after last night is pretty hilarious to me because it's October. No one cares. And you know who's overreacting more than anybody is a lot of Chiefs fans. Just saying. Saw a Chiefs meme today, like on one of those Chiefs fan pages on Facebook. It said, if you're going to stand by them during the bad times, then you deserve to be there during the good times. Stay loyal. These are the good times, guys. Like, this is it. This is the good times. The bad times, I remember the bad times. I'm born and raised in Kansas City, man. I've been a Chiefs fan my entire life. My dad's had season tickets to the Chiefs since 1980. Still does. He was there last night. And I'm telling you, the bad times were the Brody Croyle, Tyler Palco times. I mean, Matt Castle. These are the bad times, all right? 2-14 in 2012. That's the bad times. Right now, these are good times. You have an MVP quarterback. Yeah, he's had a couple of rough games. Who cares? Seriously, who cares? The guy wasn't going to throw 106 touchdowns, guys. It wasn't going to work out that way. You can't keep the hot streak going every single week. Life isn't like that. There was a time where I thought maybe. when the Chiefs were 3-0 starting out the season and Patrick Mahomes was setting the world on fire at a level that we've never really seen before. I thought maybe he does something. Maybe he hits 60 or something crazy like that. But eventually the guy was going to come back down to earth. They were all going to come back down to earth. And the defense can't tackle anyone, which is a problem. That's the worry. I mean, if you're looking for an actual worry for that team, it's that they can't tackle anybody. Because I'll tell you this, Week 5 doesn't matter. Early October only matters to mediocre teams. Like if you're the Los Angeles Chargers, Week 5 matters to you. You know what I mean? If you're the Chiefs, Week 5 is just Week 5, man. Whatever. You lose, whatever. That's fine. You're still going to win the AFC West because nobody in that division is going to beat you. I mean, it's not the freak out level that I saw from people today, not just in Kansas City, but nationally, because that's what we do. We see something go wrong. Like, it's funny, when you're 4-0, you're the best team ever. Oh my God, can anybody stop the Kansas City Chiefs? We once saw a game where they scored all their points in the second quarter, so maybe calm down a little bit on that, right? But then they lose a game where they happen to have an off game. Marlon Mack does his stuff, and there's only so many things you can do. You end up losing a game. Whatever. It happens. He had a bad game. And now suddenly it's like, well, the Chiefs can't do anything right. How did anybody even expect them to be any good this year? It's the week-to-week overreaction. I'll tell you what, I missed that too. The week-to-week overreactions. We're going to get more of that on this podcast show. I don't know. I want to call it Drop the Mic with Mike Welch. Why? Because that was my show in Lincoln. I like the name. It's catchy. It's the tip of the tongue, right? No, but let me tell you this for the Chiefs. The one thing that matters, the only thing that matters for the Chiefs is January. And more importantly, the Patriots, because I don't know what happened with that team, but they look unstoppable. Tom Brady, I hate you. Boston, I hate you. I'm sorry. It's who I am as a person. I can't stand you. And it's based mostly on jealousy. Like, I could sit here and say, like, oh, but they cheated. And they had a thing with the footballs. They deflated them. Oh, they were spying on people. The cheaters. It's because of jealousy. It's because, I get it, Boston parades. We know. We're there. We understand. Fuck off. That's why I don't like Boston. That's why I don't like Tom Brady. That's why I don't like the Patriots. It's pure jealousy. I am man enough to admit that. He once lived in a house with a moat. Not cool. So, I understand this upset about like one loss or whatever and how everybody freaks out from a week-to-week basis, but my entire existence is wrapped up in one thing right now, and that's the Chiefs knocking off the Patriots in January, because that's what matters. January. Nothing else matters. Even December, when they meet each other, I think it's like December 8th, the Chiefs and the Patriots play. Don't care. Forfeit. I'm actually not kidding. Forfeit the game. I'd rather the Chiefs not show up than Bill Belichick get anything. I really am serious. Like, I'd rather the Chiefs forfeit that game. I realize I'm talking about a game that's well ahead, but I don't care. I would like to see the Chiefs forfeit that game because I only care about what happens against the Patriots in the playoffs. I understand you have to win to get there and blah, 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 blah. There's so much firepower on that team, and when they get healthy, which they're not right now, but when they get healthy, nothing to worry about. By the way, did Tom Brady sell his soul to the devil to play like this at his age? Just asking questions. I think it's a legitimate one. It's like Glenn Beck. Remember the Glenn Beck show, like back in like, I don't know, 08, 09, something like that, where he was crying every day, and he was just like, he would ask these outrageous questions, like, is Tom Brady the devil? Is Barack Obama Satan? And they'd be like, well, I'm just asking questions. Why? That's how I feel right now. Tom Brady sold the soul of the devil. That happened in my mind. Or did it? Just asking questions. All right, Jay Gruden got fired, which is interesting because I forgot the Redskins were even a thing. I did. I was very surprised by all of it. Yeah, I forgot the Redskins were even, like, if the tree falls in the woods and there's just nothing, no one there to see it, does anyone care? Like, if Jay Gruden gets fired, does anyone really pay attention to that? They're the Washington Redskins. Anyone who thought they were going to be relevant this year, I don't know what to tell you. They weren't. I think anyone could have told you that. I mean, Alex Smith made them decent a year ago until he got injured, which, nice to see him recovering to an extent at least. Damn, that was scary. But they're the Redskins. They're terrible. Why would anyone take that job? And more importantly, the name that's floating around today, and I don't understand it, I don't get it, but it's floating out there, is Mike Tomlin. Why would Mike Tomlin ever leave his filet mignon steak, the Steelers, to go to rump roast with the Washington Redskins, to go deal with that goddamn disaster just sitting over there in D.C.? Why would you ever want to be with the Redskins? I've heard a little bit about possibility of getting full control to where, like, he can buy the groceries, he can get his own roster and all that stuff. Okay. When has that worked? I mean, outside of very rare things like Belichick and stuff, but how has that actually worked? I mean, I guess Andy Reid does it a little bit in Kansas City because he has a lot of input, but it's not necessarily him being the general manager or having full control. It's him just having a lot of input, which is great. I think that's an appealing idea, right? If you're Mike Tomlin, to go in and have some kind of say in it. But, I mean, the guy has never had a losing season in Pittsburgh. You have the best job in the world working for one of the best families, one of the best ownership groups in all of NFL, really anywhere in America. You have one of the best jobs. Don't leave that. Like, I don't care what happens. If you're Mike Tomlin, you stay in Pittsburgh until they fire you. Make them fire you, make them get rid of you, and there's no way he could possibly be blamed for what's happening in Pittsburgh this season. All right? You lose Le'Veon Bell, clearly not a terrible thing because James Conner's the Terminator and he's an absolute monster. But you lose Ben Roethlisberger to injury, maybe because you realize your team's just not going to be that good this year, and that's fine. Go that route. Just, hey, Ben, go get healthy. Ben Roethlisberger has been healthy in 10 years. All right, let's be real about that. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been healthy in so long that I don't remember what a healthy Ben Roethlisberger even looks like. Take the year off. Put him on the IR. I'm not joking. I would legitimately tank this season if I'm the Steelers. And don't worry about it. Bring Mike Tomlin back. It's one losing season on his record. All right, now you can go draft somebody. The Antonio Brown circus is gone from town. We don't know where he is. Antonio Brown's somewhere hiding out. Maybe he's in Area 51. Waiting for people to storm it. Just banging aliens. That's what Antonio Brown's up to right now. Would you be shocked? I guess in the grand scheme of things, maybe. But still, it'd be a little shocking. But if anybody was going to be at Area 51, getting some of that sweet alien ass, it'd probably be Antonio Brown. By the way, is anyone really tired about hearing about Antonio Brown? I mean, god dang, that was an odd storyline. Took a lot of turns. The Raiders, there's the allegations, and he's cut from the Patriots. Life has been wild for Antonio Brown over the last couple months, man. That's crazy shit. But that's also going into the Steelers, though. The Steelers had to deal with all that. They've had to at least see that from the outside. What that tells me, what Antonio Brown, and then Le'Veon Bell, because he's been chirping too. There's been a lot of guys who have left the Steelers who are like, wow, how did that locker room stay together? How were they not at each other's throats every single day? How did Ben Roethlisberger not throw balls at Antonio Brown instead of to Antonio Brown? Just bang, right in the side of the head and knock some sense into him. How did that not happen? Mike Tomlin. That's how it didn't happen. So you can't get rid of Mike Tomlin if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know he's only won one Super Bowl. Fuck you. Is that the bitter Chiefs fan in me? Probably the bitter Chiefs fan in me. One Super Bowl. Oh, wow. He's a contender every year. Winning record every year. He has a quarterback who's constantly injured all the time, playing banged up. He has head cases in the locker room. The fact that hasn't pulled apart at the seams and become a complete disaster is just beyond my mental capacity. Which, let's face it, is not very large. But still, that's beyond my mental capacity. To have to figure out how Mike Tomlin was able to keep that locker room somewhat sane and successful despite everything. Right? It's unreal. The guy, I don't think he's had one losing season. Has maybe one. I don't think he has, though. I really don't. So if Mike Tomlin goes to the Redskins for full control, I don't see the point in that. I don't see the upside in it that I think other people do. And even then, because I think I saw Stephen A. say something about that on ESPN today, about how that could be an option for him. I wouldn't do it. I mean, maybe Mike Tomlin's done with everything in Pittsburgh, but hey, if you think things in Pittsburgh are dysfunctional, go to Washington. Go hang out with Dan Snyder for a little while. See how that goes for you. And you'll gain perspective. Let's see, Christian McCaffrey. He's destroying everything in his path, man. I'm shocked at what I'm seeing Christian McCaffrey do right now, man. That guy has been so fun to watch. I mean, it's one of those things where when you see the little white guy running, you don't think, oh, he's going to be faster than everybody on the field. I know, maybe that's not an okay PC thing to say. I live in the land of PC, and yeah, I hear, maybe that's over the line. But it's how I feel. When I see Christian McCaffrey, I don't think, oh, that guy's going to be faster than everybody. Why? Because he's white. But he is. He's faster than everybody. He's breaking down stereotypes. Look, this is like the season of stereotypes being broken down, because there was always the black quarterback stereotype being broken down. Look at how many successful black quarterbacks are playing right now. Jacoby Brissett, put him on the list. He just took the Colts to Kansas City and beat the 4-0 Chiefs, right? From out of nowhere. We were expecting Andrew Luck to be the quarterback of that team. Teddy Bridgewater in New Orleans. He looks really good, by the way. I mean, we've never at any point. Kyler Murray, Arizona, they got their first win yesterday. The Cardinals don't look too bad. I'm just saying, this is a season where stereotypes are getting destroyed. We're seeing a lot of very successful black quarterbacks happen. We're seeing Christian McCaffrey look like White Shadow, the fastest guy in the NFL. I like to see the stereotypes that we have in sports flipped on their head. It's one of my favorite things. It really is. I want to see basketball players stop flopping and start acting like badasses now. Be like that video game from Super Nintendo with Bill Laimbeer. Remember that game? Bill Laimbeer with the Pistons. He was on that, it was like combat basketball. I want to say it was. It was like a Super Nintendo game. They just knocked the shit out of each other, and they're like, it's basketball, dude. I like to see stereotypes get broken, and we're seeing that this year in the NFL. I think it's one of the most fun seasons I can remember this early in, where we're watching all these different things that we haven't seen before. And what's annoying to me, I didn't mean to take this far away from Christian McCaffrey, but I think it brings up an interesting point, because I'll say that about Christian McCaffrey, that it's surprising to me to see Christian McCaffrey be as fast as he is, because you just don't expect it, right? I think Wes Welker had I think a lot of people said that about him. I don't think that's a wrong thing to say. Just I don't think it's weird that ESPN or the Undefeated come out with this tracker for black quarterbacks this year. That's not weird. enjoy it, celebrate it. Absolutely. It's something interesting. It's different. It's a stereotype that was long set in the NFL where you had all these white stationary quarterbacks, and now we're watching those white stationary quarterbacks look like a thing of the past as time goes on, where it doesn't matter what color you are, if you can't move in this NFL, you can't play. And there's a lot of barriers being broken. Why not celebrate them? I don't remember who it was. It was probably Clay Travis. Who am I kidding? I don't remember who it was. It was probably Clay, who brought up the fact that, the ESPN, or I think it's the Undefeated, which is part of ESPN, so one and the same, that put out that list of all these quarterbacks, these black quarterbacks, and their success rate. He's like, oh, they would never do this with white quarterbacks. It's like, well, it's because it's not interesting, Clay. It's not breaking barriers of a stereotype, Clay. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this thing. So anyway, Christian McCaffrey, he's destroying every slow white guy stereotype that I have always believed in, and that's awesome for him, and it's awesome for the Panthers too. It's becoming a fun team to watch. It's an interesting team to watch. Back to the Steelers real quickly, just because I kind of forgot to get to it. I'll get to the Huskers here too. A little college football, just for anybody in Lincoln, Nebraska might be hearing. I have some takes about how this Husker season has gone that I think will make you. I think it'll make you feel better. You'll hear that in just a minute. But first, what happened with the Steelers with Mason Rudolph? Mason Rudolph got destroyed by Earl Thomas yesterday. It was actually kind of terrifying. That hit, that helmet to helmet shot, because he was out cold on impact. I mean, usually you see guys and they're at least able to, kind of help themselves not hit the ground as hard or whatever. But Rudolph, the second he got hit, he was out. So that was scary. That was really scary. And then when I see them carrying Mason Rudolph off the field, and I'm like, why? Obviously, that's the number one question. The guy was just knocked out cold. He should be on a stretcher. He should be on a cart. He should be going back to the locker room right now. Instead, he's being carried off the field because apparently there was a malfunction to the injury cart in Pittsburgh, because their injury cart is from 1942. I hate to sound like the entitled person here. The person who's the woman asking to speak to the manager. I hate to sound like that person, but I feel like Mason Rudolph can ask for the manager in this situation. He has to ask somebody, why am I walking off the field when I just got knocked unconscious on impact by Earl Thomas? Why do I have to go through this because you can't get your injury card together? That's unbelievable. Get your injury card out here. What is this? What are we doing? It reminds me of those old Madden video games where they used to have the ambulance come on the field. The guy gets injured, this weird stops. They load him in, drives him off the field. Those were amazing, by the way. I love. They should bring that back. Should bring that back to Madden. There was one thing in the world I want brought back to that video game. I think it was Madden. It could have been one of those 2K, like NFL 2K or whatever it was. I mean, again, we're working off memory here, but yeah, no, that's it. Why not have the ambulance come out there in that scenario? I can't imagine living in a world where I would be knocked unconscious as a player and they wouldn't be able to get me off the field without having someone carry me. That would be so upsetting. And I know it's probably not as big of a deal as it is in my head, and it's probably like Mason Rudolph's like, whatever, pussy, get over it. I get that, but how hard can it be to just pick somebody up, put him on the cart, get another cart? There's not a backup cart. How do you not have a backup cart? Like one injury cart per team. How do you not have two injury carts? I don't know. Could be one of those things I get excited about. Other people don't get excited about it. They're like, whatever, dude, get over it. All right, it's fine. I can definitely see that side of it. I feel like if I was Mason Rudolph, I would see my side of it, but that's okay. That's okay. It's cool. All right, let's get to the Huskers then. The Huskers. I don't know how long this is going to be. This is going to be just kind of until I get tired. Until I was like, get tired. Until I'm just like, okay, I'm out of stuff that I want to talk about. But it's the first episode. It's a trial run. We're just having a good time, man. So let's get into the Huskers, who have had an interesting season so far with Scott Frost as their head coach. Ranked early, before the season started. A little premature. That's obvious for everybody at this point, because they have two Big Ten wins. They beat Illinois barely, and then of course last second field goal they beat Northwestern, and those are two bad teams. and they get trounced by Ohio State, which the game day impact of that, I think, is probably why people are more down on the Huskers than they should be. Because let me tell you this, it's going to take time. Scott Frost is the right guy for that job. There's no reason to be panicking right now about Nebraska. There's no reason to be upset. I'm telling you right now, there's no reason to be upset about this team. There's no reason people to be jumping ship on the Huskers at this point. It's a rebuilding process with a coach that you know is your best bet. This isn't Mike Riley. This isn't Bo Pelini even. And I liked Bo Pelini. I was a huge Bo Pelini fan. Never thought he should have been fired. A lot of people disagree with me on that. That's fine. I liked Bo Pelini. I thought he did a lot with the teams that he had, and I thought he lacked a lot of support from the administration. So, number one thing to remember about me, big Bo Pelini guy. But I'm also a big Scott Frost guy. I like Scott Frost. I think he's the best shot Nebraska has at coming back to prominence. But I also think it's going to take time. You got to get people in there that can actually recruit that area, recruit it well, and not recruit, frankly, the way that Mike Riley and his staff did. So, it's going to take time for Nebraska to get better. I see a lot of panic, and I understand it because, you were told a lot of things. People get excited about the season, pump you up, put you in the top 25. Think about the end of last year, and they think, oh, that's just going to carry over to this year. But that's not always the case. And it's going to be a minute. Like, Adrian Martinez is a good quarterback, dude. You just got to give this thing time to sink in. You got to breathe and almost enjoy the process and know that every year is not going to be the year. I think one of the bigger issues that Nebraska has is the magnifying glass that's always on it. Because the fan base is so rabid. If you haven't been to Lincoln, Nebraska for a game, do it. It's electrifying. It's the best thing you're ever going to experience. You're going to walk away from it going, wow, that was incredible on every level. I can't stress that enough. But the thing that I always keep coming back to as I watch these games, and look, Ohio State was. And we're back. Now I got a phone call. The do not disturb button. It's kind of a must when you're recording on your phone. See, these are the things. You'll learn them little by little. That's okay. First show, won't happen again. We were talking about Nebraska. I think the crux of the issue is pretty clear, right? Everyone overrated Nebraska before the year, and that's okay. They're not there yet. They're gonna get there with Scott Frost. You got to keep that faith, man. I'm not trying to tell everybody what to do, but what would you rather do? You got Scott Frost. You got the guy. This is clearly the guy that you want. This is the guy that's going to rebuild the program. Everything's in place. You just have to allow it to happen. And it's not like Scott Frost is sitting there thinking, this is going awesome. This is the best. This is exactly why I came to Nebraska, to get trounced by Ohio State and barely beat bad teams. Yeah, this is why I'm here. This is what I wanted. He's not dumb, guys. He's a smart guy. He's a really good football coach. He's fully aware of everything that he's going to have to do to get Nebraska back on track, and I fully believe that he will. So, I don't know. Is weed legal in Nebraska yet? That might be a good thing to turn to in the meantime, because there's going to be some tough roads ahead for Nebraska, man. But hey, win 7 games, go 7-5, and you're fine. I got 4 wins. Hey, be all right. Let's see, get the basketball a little bit. I don't know. I feel like people in LA even are a little bit over LeBron James. I saw he got an Instagram post after a game with Anthony Davis, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. I'm so happy to be back." And I'm just kind of like, "Shut up." I don't know. I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people are kind of over LeBron James at this point. I don't necessarily have a reason to dislike hearing from LeBron James, or really have there are so many other teams. Like, the Clippers are more interesting to me here than the Lakers. I don't care about LeBron James, and Anthony Davis is fine, but you got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George over there. I'm more worried about the Clippers. I'm interested by the Clippers. Ballmer's over there making things happen. The Lakers are banking everything on LeBron James, who's just not what he once was. And maybe it's just fatigue over years and years of LeBron James coverage. Maybe that's what it's come to. We can blame ESPN inadvertently blame ESPN for how people feel negatively toward LeBron James, because I'm just over the guy. I can't be alone in this, where seems like a nice guy, an okay guy. Nobody wants to play with him. Should tell you a few things. But he seems like an okay guy. He doesn't seem like, the Antichrist or something like that. It's not like, oh, how dare LeBron? I don't like his political opinions. I don't care about LeBron James's political opinions. Why? Because I don't have to. That's a thing that I find interesting for all of athletes. And we'll get to that here in a second, just because I find that's an interesting avenue to go down. But I think it's just that I've seen so much of LeBron James over the years that now when I watch, I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to see your Instagram posts. I don't need to see anything from you until you're going back to the playoffs. Because if you're not going to make the playoffs, then you don't matter to me. I'm sorry. It's how I feel. On to the political thing, I guess, especially when I was in Kansas City, 2016 to 2018, there was a lot of politics during that time, a lot of politics in sports. And there's less of it now, which I think is a good thing. But it's also one of those things where it never bothered me that much because I don't have to care about your political opinions. And that's, I think, a lot of people have decided they either like an athlete or don't like an athlete based on their opinions. I don't care about your opinions. Do you play for my team? Do I think you're a showman? Are you a good... That's why I like Baker Mayfield. I don't care for the Browns. Don't care for the Sooners. Love Baker Mayfield because I enjoy watching Baker Mayfield play. I enjoy watching Baker Mayfield do anything, including talk about Rex Ryan, like who the hell is Rex Ryan? Because that's awesome. I like entertaining players. I don't care what you think about X, Y, or Z. It means literally less than nothing to me. Why? Because I have my own opinions about that. I don't need your opinion. We're in this world now where everybody thinks their opinion and everyone else's opinion matters. Really doesn't. Really doesn't. Sorry. So if anything I ever say offends somebody or upsets somebody, it doesn't matter, dude. I'm just talking. I'm just saying words. And that's the thing with LeBron James. LeBron James has taken up a lot of causes. And by the way, he's helped a lot of people. He has. Still don't care about his political opinions. Still have seen too much of him. I don't know. I think we point to charity work as like a reason why you have to like someone. No, I don't have to. There's a lot of good people out there I don't necessarily care to hear from. LeBron James is one of them. I don't know. It's weird. But no, I am excited for the Clippers. I'm excited to see what happens in that scenario because, look, the Clippers have been a laughingstock for a long time. Steve Ballmer's an out there guy, right? He's crazy. But he's really smart, right? That's also, both of these things are undeniable facts about Steve Ballmer, the owner of Clippers. He's crazy and he's smart. Those are both facts. And Kawhi Leonard, when they were talking with him, he was like, yeah, I'm just not doing it. This team's not good enough for me. So he went out and got Paul George. Then boom, Kawhi Leonard. That's how crazy people make things happen, though. And that's why I like to see what happens to the Clippers this year, man. I'm excited for the NBA. I'm excited for the entire year because we've got a lot of interesting pairings going on. Russell Westbrook in Houston. Huh. Somebody's going to die. We don't know which one. We don't know who's going to go down, but I can't imagine that thing works out well for anybody. I get the idea behind it because, fuck it, you got to try something. But don't know anyone looking at that situation going, oh, yeah, no, it's probably going to work out perfectly. It's going to be great. Oh, felt good. About a little half hour, a little test balloon run for a podcast. Drop the mic on Mike Welch. Oh, yeah. Feels nice. Feels nice. It's nice to talk about it again. Again, you can interact with me, call me out, tell me whatever you want to tell me. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm just hanging out, having a good time. All right. Peace out until next time. Don't know when next time's going to be. Could be next week, could be in 2 days. We'll see, right? That's why it's called Test Balloon.